edition of the Indoctrination. I am David Snedeker, and I am very excited about being with you this evening and having my guest on, who I'm going to bring up here in just a moment after I turn down and off the music. Sir Oliver, welcome, my friend. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
There he goes. There he goes. Hopefully, we'll have very few technical difficulties tonight, but I guess it depends on what we're talking about, doesn't it?
You're already having technical difficulties.
How did you know that, by the way? I
Hey,
am.
you are.
My,
I know.
yeah, my what do you call it? My keyboard wouldn't work. Then my mic wouldn't work. And that's why it took me a few minutes to get in front of everybody.
Well,
So yeah.
anytime you mention my name and you put that logo up on your screen,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna mess with you. You
Yep,
know that already.
I
By the
do.
way, you look great, man. You look young.
Thank you.
Look at
Thank
you,
you. Yeah.
clean
Got rid
shaven,
of the
nice haircut. Yeah, man.
Thank you. Got my hair cut, and yeah,
Good.
people say
Yeah,
it
I can't.
takes
Yeah, sound like a robot.
my brother-in-law told me it took 5 weeks off my age. So I was pretty happy. Actually, he said
You sound
5
like
years.
a robot, Dave. I don't know if you can
Do I
hear me.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just started sounding like a robot just then.
Let me check out my headphones. See what happens.
Hmm. How we sounding to you all? Let me know. Yeah, that's even worse. Getting a lot of crackle. That Dixie Doodle. Oh, Dixie, you know me better than that. I never have technical difficulties, do I? No, never, never. Yeah. Now we've got Sir Oliver having some problems. He was a little gargled. Um, now, my friend, can you hear me? Okay, I'm not hearing you. If I need to kick you out again. Cheers, everybody. While we're getting ready for Sir Oliver, please check your coats and imagine you're coming in out of the cold and you are looking to be unencumbered with your visit here this evening. And so you want to just imagine your indoctrination, all your preconceived notions and unconscious bias all wrapped up in this big, heavy winter coat. And you do not want to lug that around with you all night. So all your indoctrination, preconceived notions, bias, conscious and unconscious bias. Just imagine it wrapped up in this big, heavy winter coat, and you're just going to take off that coat, check it at the coat check where it's safe, and you're going to check that squeaky toy at your coat check. Yeah. Okay. So he seemed to have found one of the squeakiest of squeaky. And as Magnus is here, my friend, who's just they're like best of friends. It's pretty awesome. So they play a lot, so he'll keep him busy tonight. Um, yes. Thank you, Moonbeam. Thank you, Quasi Pete, for holding down the fort here in the Sned Shed. But grab a snack, grab your favorite drink, my friends. That the coats are checked, and come on, just have a little sparkling water with coconut here. A little HEB, which, by the way, what happened with that HEB today was there was supposedly an active shooter happening at HEB. What's up with that? Let me see. Let's see. The disgruntled employee who allegedly pointed a gun at a security guard at HEB and caused the store to temporarily lock has been identified according to court records. So it doesn't sound like it was a shooting. Yeah. And someone said there was a gunman at the Slip Bay yesterday as well. This was the one in Houston. Okay. There you go. I'm going to, I think Oliver has the same link, but let me put it out there just one more time. Okay. So I'm looking forward to a much overdue conversation, my friends. And thank you for your requests to get Sir Oliver back on with us. And sometimes things are just flying by, and I have a tendency to forget to invite some awesome people on. And I'm going to do the same with Rob Cunningham, and I've other people that I'm looking forward to introducing you to as well very soon. So just had a conversation about that just before being on the show tonight. So there he is. Let's see if we can bring him back up. Hey, buddy, can you hear me okay?
Yes, and you sound much better.
Okay. You good?
Just like that. Good job.
You all right? You good?
I am, but you're coming in choppy.
My mic is cutting in and out, they're telling me.
Yeah.
Gee.
Oh, it's good. Actually, the last 3 seconds, you're good.
Okay. All right. I think it has to do with this whole situation. Is that any better?
Sounds good. Yep.
That's better. Let me know if it's not, please, and my audience will as well. But sometimes if I just readjust that cable, it's good. So, my friend, just bring us up to speed on your journey, if you would, through this absolute insane show that we've been watching.
I can't call it. I've come to the realization that the more you know, the more you want to know.
Yep,
I
that's
mean,
very true. Yeah,
isn't it? You
yeah,
know, we've been over Target so many times, right?
yep.
No argument there. Anyone who's been following this and who's been following Q and who's able to connect the dots can say, without a doubt that they've been over Target a time or two. But with new information coming out, you're like, wow, what's really going on here? You know, and the other day, I don't think anyone picked up on this. Scavino posted a grayscale. I like to call it grayscale, the black and white videos. He posted a grayscale video. He was, peering out through a window. I guess he was in the Oval Office, somewhere in the White House. I'm saying Oval Office. And he was filming, I don't know who, dressed up as our founding fathers. Did you see that video? I can't hear you, Dave. I can't hear you. Oh my God, here we
That
go.
was my fault. I hit the mute because the dogs were playing with their chew toy.
Oh,
So thank
okay.
you. Good catch. My
So,
I did see that, and it was hilarious. I mean, it's these founding fathers in like these mascot outfits.
yeah, yes, with the huge heads, exactly. They
Yeah.
look like dots, right? So,
Yep.
anyone who saw that would just look at it and say, "Hey, people dress up as founding fathers. They're celebrating, blah blah blah." but
Yeah.
there's always meaning to Scavino's drops,
Mm-hmm.
posts. And so, you know me, of course, I go to the boards, and it coincided with the mainstream media wanting to uh, indefinitely keep us in masks. And that drop had a link of a tweet. I think it was from the Washington Post, with two people wearing masks, and they were the one lady. One was a lady, one was a man. Yeah, that's yep.
I'm going to
That's
show it. I'm going to show it, and then I'll do that dive. So we got Washington on the far left. I think this is Jefferson and Lincoln. I don't know who this little guy is. This looks like actually like an actual mascot.
yeah.
Okay.
You can definitely make out Lincoln, and you can make an argument for Washington. The other guy, I'm not sure who it was, but that's not the point. The point is people dressed up and with these huge, whatever you want to call it. I took it as okay, somebody with a mask. He's telling us something.
Uh
So now
huh.
I go to the drops, and if you
So
link,
did you go to the timestamp?
what was the
Or
timestamp on that?
let me pull that up. So the timestamp, the actual time of the video is 21 seconds, and the timestamp itself was at 12 24
12:24. 12,
p.m.
so you know what I did with that? This is what I did with that. I went to. Did he post a date on that drop?
It was May 5th.
He did. He posted the
Yep,
date
he
because
did post a date. Yes, 5/5/26.
right, and lately he's been doing that. Right, he's been
Yep,
posting a lot of posts with the date at the top, and so I went to the date. I went to the drops, and I looked at the deltas, and I think that's how I came up with this. Yes, it is. Drop 4111. Right. People look at the video, they look at the seconds, they look at the timestamp, they look at the context.
yep,
I'm thinking, okay, there's got to be something behind this date here. So I went to the
yep.
deltas, and there it
May
is.
5th, 2020.
Right. So when you go to that link,
Will you
it's
follow the narrative? It says.
it's the Washington Post.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Wow. Nice catch.
You know. So I think he's throwing it in their face. Telling them you wanted to put us in masks, but here we are forcing you to wear masks.
Mm,
And the mask that I'm thinking is the mask that Biden had on, the mask
yep,
that Charles' wife has been wearing, and many others. Right? We can make a strong argument for people wearing masks. Kamala at one point was wearing a mask. We can make a strong argument for people wearing masks in D.C. It's become the norm, in my opinion, for politicians, especially those who they put on camera, right?
yep,
Cast, what is it? Central casting, especially those. You got to watch. Remember how back in the day we would watch the videos and they would show the right at the collar, at the tie, where the neck would kind of like
yeah,
show this the black space between the right. Remember that?
yeah,
You just tell it was fake. We saw Dr. Fauci. We saw uh, Kansas, Pompeo. We saw so many people in masks. I mean, we can't prove it, but to me, this is what he was not telling us, but showing them because they watch these drops and these posts as much as we do. And interesting how, like I was saying before, regardless of what I think I know, regardless of my journey, your journey is different than mine, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I can go off X for an entire day and come back on and see posts from people that I've seen since 2018, 19, maybe even before that. And it just makes sense, and if it doesn't make sense, disregard, right? Keep it moving.
Yeah.
But they're still showing us things, and they're still forcing us to connect the dots because this is how they have to communicate with us. They can't just come out and tell us what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at what's going on with Iran, right? What's the I just posted this. Give me 1 second. It's the May 8th Delta. Um Give me 1 second, Dave. I'm sorry. May 8th Delta, uh about Trump, you know, when he took control of Iran. Remember that drop? Today POTUS took control of Iran. That's drop 1320. That's coming up.
1320.
Right, 1320. And what's happening right now in the Strait of Hormuz, and basically showing the world that he's in control, you know, not Iran. And
Right. Yeah.
who's really being affected by his actions in the Strait of Hormuz? London, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
London and the East, not us.
Hey, you're hating out about every other word.
Of course. All right, let me be quiet for a minute. You want to read that?
Sure. Today, evil, this is May 8th, 2018. So we got a Delta coming up in 2 days, 1320. Today, evil lost control, leverage of Iran. Today, POTUS took control of Iran. Today, with pending sanctions and military actions, POTUS will gain more ammunition, intel against them. Suicide watch. The deal kept Iran quiet. The deal that we're talking about here is Barack Obama's deal with Iran. The goal is to keep POTUS in until impeachment term ends. Bigger than people can imagine. Treason is 1/10. Ask yourself, why are they panicking? Ask yourself. Go ahead. Stop.
Can you pause 1 second?
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to sides on that one statement right there. The goal was to keep POTUS in until impeachment term end, right? So they already knew someone else was going to come in. They already knew there was going to be a pause, right? And it's been proven in so many ways that there was an actual pause. And
Right.
Trump himself, when I met him, by the way, I had my 45 through 47 hat on. And that's the first thing he saw. And he said to me,
Yep.
"What a hat. You want me to sign it?" And so that said to me, he saw the 45 47, and he wears that proudly. And how
Yeah.
many how
Yeah.
many right? How many hints have we been given about the 45 through 47? So right here we have 2018, May 8th, upcoming Delta saying the goal is to keep POTUS in until impeachment term end. All right. They reached that goal.
Yep.
And then they went dark, sort of. When you talk about a shadow presidency, everyone thinks about Obama.
Yeah.
Seldom do we think about Trump
Trump. Yeah.
being the shadow president.
Exactly.
That's why,
What do you think?
yeah,
What do you think about treason as 1/10?
because there's a hell of a lot worse.
Yes, that's what I take away too. Yeah. We're not even going to be concerned with treason when we find out what they've been doing to the children.
That's right.
I mean,
Humanity
it's
in general.
yeah, it's like it's not even going to be uh, in consideration. It's because it's going to be so damning to them. Uh, and by the way, if you all would help me, I wanted to expound on what Sir Oliver was saying about the 45 through 47. And if you haven't caught that, this was when Oliver met President Trump in New York City with the Workers, and and yeah, he called him a good-looking dude like 4 times, I think.
You know, the strangest part to me in retrospect, and not just now, even back then, was the fact that he came to me 3 times.
Yeah, yeah, that was
He,
amazing.
yeah.
That was amazing. But I wanted to ask everybody if you can remember what day I did the 45 through 47 dive, and it took us. It was one of the days when Trump was posting like multiple times a night, and they all. I want to say it was maybe last week, but they were all like gold, and they actually a lot of game theory like 45-47 too, like 45 through like 39, 40, 41, and he was taking us to all these drops, and it was a really significant dive. I think so. I'm glad you mentioned that. Then I'm going to try to pull that up. But what?
Well, present day, right? When you look at what's going on present day, you see people like Rand Paul and others talking about the expiration of Congress being able, or the DOJ, I'm sorry, being able to convict Fauci for lying to Congress. And I'm like, are these people really stupid, or is something to bring attention to the situation? Yeah, I think because
Shoot,
he has.
you're breaking up again, brother. And my audio is off too. People are saying,
Yeah, you
Jesus.
were choppy. Yeah.
I'm
I'm
going,
still breaking up.
that sounds a little better. I'm going to
Yeah.
take
This seems
this.
to be the norm every time I come on your show. It takes a good half an hour, 45 minutes for it to correct itself.
Yeah, yeah. And about you leaving and coming back in 4 or 5 times
Five,
too.
6 times.
Unbelievable. So
But
you
if
sound
if you
better
could
now.
still hear me,
I
can you hear
can
me?
now. Yes, it's all
Okay.
loud and clear. Loud
So
and
so I'm sure you've seen certain politicians talking about Fauci and the time running out to
yeah,
prosecute him, right?
yeah. Rand
Why
Paul.
aren't they mentioning? Yeah, Rand Paul, he's the main one, and he's got a lot of dirt on Fauci, by the way, and so does Junior, right?
Mhm.
Robert F. Kennedy. Why aren't they talking about his true crimes? Why are
Well,
they talking about the time running out for Congress to prosecute him on lying to Congress? I think we're going to see another uh, hearing, another Fauci hearing.
mm,
But it's not going to be for lying to Congress.
well, it's kind of like look what they're going after Comey for. And Q has talked about this. Like, just once you open up the court case, that's when you can bring in other evidence and other things. I went to that dive just the other night. I'm forgetting which one it is, but this is they're basically they're going after Comey right now for jaywalking. Meanwhile, there's bodies on the side of the street that are a result of what he did once he jaywalked. So, but they're going to start piling stuff on.
Well,
So,
Solomon already alluded to the fact that it's not about that. That's the least of it.
yeah.
So they said it's about, they have 11 months worth of investigation into this as far as Comey. I think it's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you look at the big picture, it just makes sense, right? Let's allow him to go in front of the world
and get away, have him believe that he's getting away with his crimes, and Letitia James too. Let's make the left believe he's going to get away with everything, and then we'll pull him back in for the more serious crimes, right? He's not going to get away with anything. None of them are. When you look at, and here's one of my proofs, right? This is one of my reasonings behind all of this already had taken place, and years ago. When you look at Comey's last posts, they're all with the same background and the same suit and tie. But they're
You mean, yeah,
supposed
you mean the you you mean the kidnap victim videos.
exactly.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when, remember those eerie videos that Tom Hanks and his wife used to give, and
Yeah.
then you saw the serial number on the door in the
Yeah.
background. Like,
Yeah.
remember that?
Totally.
That's what that
Totally.
reminds me of, and
Totally.
and and then it takes me back to house arrest, right? And how it's possible that they've had these people years ago on house arrest, not allowing them to go anywhere, and then pre-recording not just these videos that we're seeing, but also confessions. And now they can control the narrative because they already have it all. We've been told so many times they have it all. So you can literally write the script when you have it all. Look
Yeah.
at Cash now, Cash Patel, and what's going on in the FBI. Do you really think that Christopher Wray just happened to overlook all this evidence and just left it in some secret room in burn bags,
Mm.
for the next? I mean, come on, seriously, it doesn't make sense.
And I've said this from that word go, on that whole situation. And I know I've said this to you too, is that Cash and Bongino, when they were interviewed by Bartiromo, they basically said, based on the information that the FBI has, he did not traffic anybody to, talking about Epstein and all that.
Right,
And
right,
I said, listen to the words, folks. What they're trying to tell us is that they buried that information, but Q said we have it all. So it's just a matter of bringing it out. And then when the burn bags situation happened, I said, folks, do you really think that they would have gone as far as putting them in the burn bags without burning them? That
exactly.
that was to show that they were all obviously trying to hide this information.
Well, for me, it's a way of introducing it. You just talked about introducing evidence,
Right.
right? If they had it all, they have to devise a plan of introducing it, and
Exactly.
right. And what better way than to depict the previous administration's FBI as
Right.
hiding all this evidence, right? It,
Mhm.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And we hear about placeholders, throughout the jobs. We've heard about placeholders many times, right? And I've always said Ray was a placeholder. 100%. I'm still convinced he was a placeholder because you don't hear about him when it comes to indictments. He's always left out. And I've watched him in the hearings when they brought him into Congress to testify. And he always said, I cannot speak on ongoing investigations.
Right. Right.
So I don't, and we know that the Biden we saw for 4 years wasn't the Biden,
Right.
right? So you can't say, oh well, if he was part of Trump's team, then Biden, uh, why did he keep him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because Biden wasn't Biden.
Right. 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 And by the way, how about the three terms president?
That's right.
I
He
mean,
made it clear to everyone.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
we did a nice dive on that too, man. That was awesome. And yeah,
Yeah, you always do. You always do good dives. I've been out of the loop for a while. I haven't really. I mean, you and I last time we spoke, it's been a while.
yeah,
But I've been dealing with my own personal stuff lately, and I've kind of you know cut back on my content and action here on any platform. But like I said, you don't skip a beat. You might miss a day or two, and you go on, and boom, there's just so much information being given to you, and a lot of times it's repetitive. It's stuff that we've known for a long time, and now it's coming back. Like I follow Paul Sperry. We follow each other actually. Paul Sperry, you know Paul Sperry, right? And I
yes,
don't know, all right. So I've been following him a long time, and he's always been on point. And he's coming back now with a lot of the stuff that he reported on years ago. Some of it was actually in the drops. Same thing with John Solomon. And
yeah.
Catherine Herridge. They're all coming back with stuff that they were reporting on years ago, and then some. Because in my opinion, they're being given the declassification before anyone else. You know,
And
really
Catherine was
so
just
because they.
in the press room.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome. And they deserve it, Dave, because they were banned. They were banned.
Yeah.
Just like we were. And they were banned for telling the truth. Everything they were reporting, they were spot on. So why not give them that shine? Let them shine. Not
And
use.
CBS tried to take her material.
Yeah, they cut her out. They fired her. Yeah, and they try to own her. Yeah, they try to take ownership of her. She had to fight for that.
Yeah,
She had to fight for that.
she won.
I'm
She got
I'm subscribed to her. I have one subscription, and it's to her
nice.
because yeah, the content she puts out is just amazing. You
Yes.
know, and Solomon is there's no argument there. We know Q approached him early on. We know he was chosen. He brought in Sarah Carter to be
Yeah.
part of his team.
Yeah.
There's no question he's part of that team. So and did you see Nunes is now more involved with the intelligence
Sure.
in
Yeah.
this administration?
Yeah. That was huge.
So yeah,
And it was right around the deltas too. Like it was the deltas of when he came back in, when he left Truth Social, came back in to work with President Trump, and the deltas were all over him.
it never ceases to amaze me, Dave.
Yeah.
My journey. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I'm gonna be satisfied.
Yeah.
My children will be proud. Because I've always kept them abreast of what's going on. Just today, one of my daughters asked me, "Dad, what's going on with the war? Are we at war?" And I said, "Who'd you hear that from?" And of course, they hear stuff on TikTok and stuff like that. And I said, "Look, the first thing you got to do whenever you hear something like that is where's it coming from, right? Who's the source? Don't judge yourself because your mind's going to play tricks on you. You got to find out where the information is coming from, and is it reliable information?" But I love this, and she always comes to me asking me questions, and so I gave her the breakdown of what's going on. I said, no, we're not really at war, the traditional war that people think is going to break out. It's more of an information war. It's
Hmm.
behind the scenes. There's a lot of very, very important people involved across the world. And you're going to see the effects of it real soon. It's just certain things have to play out. oh, but a lot of people talking about, Iran is going to bomb us, and why is gas so high, and stuff like that, and it's kind of funny to me, but to the normal person, I could understand, the frustration, because I just went to the pump today. I put $110 in my car and it didn't fill it up.
Really?
Yeah. And
Wow.
you know what? It didn't anger me because I was reminded of when I had a very, efficient car during the last administration, and I'm putting $65 in the tank and it wasn't filling it up. Where when Trump was president, his first term, $35, $40 was filling it up. We was sub
Yep.
$2,
Yeah.
right? You remember, we were under $2 in many states across the country. And so I'm trying to tell her, just chillax, learn as much as you can. If you have any questions, come to me. I'll try to explain to you what's going on. But no, we're not gonna have a war in the traditional sense of war. Nobody's gonna come here and bomb the United States. There's gonna be certain scare events where people have to be shaken to awaken and see
Mhm.
what's really going on. But the choice to know will be theirs, right? Just like you and I, the choice that we made years ago to know what's really going on. Nobody forced me to do my research, to make the decisions I made. That was my choice. That was your choice. You chose to do
Yep.
what you did. But I'm happy, man. I got no complaints. I'm gonna go ahead with the surgery. Um,
On your back. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not gonna say I've been putting it off, but you know, it it's a tough decision. And when I consulted with the doctor initially, he gave me a few options, and I said, all right, just schedule it. And I got to be honest, I wasn't sure which procedure they were going to do. I knew it wasn't the fusion. I knew it wasn't the surgery, but there were a couple of options that were less invasive that they could have opted to do. And they said, at the day of when I got to the facility, and they explained to me that it was just going to be an epidural, steroid injection, which is, it's nothing major. And he wanted to see how I reacted to it, because I've heard people that I know personally who've gotten the shots, several shots, same shot, same injection, and they got a lot of relief from it. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to keep going back and get. I know the harms that
Steroids.
steroids can cause. And I told the doctor, I said, I don't like steroids. I'm not, but let's just see how it goes. We'll wait a couple of weeks, blah, 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 whatever. You'll come back, we'll give you another shot. I said, no, I'm not doing another shot. Anyway, within a couple of days, the pain started to come back. Within a couple of weeks, I was almost to the point where I was before the injection. So I called him up and said, listen, I'm not going through this again. I'm not doing this again. So what are we talking about? What kind of surgery? And there's a couple of surgeries they can do. One is, your typical fusion going in from the back.
Yeah.
And this guy went into great detail as far as how it takes place. He had the MRI of my back up on the screen, and he explained to me how they have to cut the muscle away from the bone, in order to get to the discs, and so on and so forth. The other way is going in through your stomach and moving, some organs around to get to your back. And I'm like, damn, wait a minute. Okay, which one is more sure? Which one is more secure? I don't know what the exact term that I use when I asked the question, but what I wanted to know was, where am I going to get the most relief from, and how long is the recovery? Now, I've heard it's 8 months to a year, laying up in bed. The recovery, I've heard from some people it's a couple of months. I've heard from some people it's a couple of weeks. He said it depends on you, the shape that you're in. Obviously, if you're overweight, it's going to take a lot longer to recover. If you're in great shape, it'll take a lot less time. It's really depends on you. But the operation going in through the stomach involves another surgeon. And although it's more invasive because they have to make multiple incisions, it's you know it's almost 100% where you'll be relieved. I will be relieved from the pain for good,
Hmm.
but the recovery time is a lot longer. And I can't do that. I
Yeah.
can't sacrifice all that time. So and my wife was telling me, she's like, listen, you got to go with the other surgery because not only is it more invasive, you don't know. It could take, like I've heard, like I said, 8 months to a year sometimes.
Wow.
So we're gonna go with the traditional, back surgery through the back, fusing the L4 L5. That's what it is right now. I have 6 herniated discs.
Oh,
The but the main ones are the L4 L5. And my wife, again, she made a valid point. She's like, why don't you just fix it all in one shot while you're in there? So I go back. Um, Actually, no, they're waiting on authorization. Um, so as soon as I find out, when as soon as it's authorized, I guess I'll go back and meet with the surgeon and we'll discuss this. But she's right. I don't want to go through this again, Dave. I don't know if you ever had problems with your back, but
that I had it ended my career twice.
so you know,
Mm-hmm.
so you know,
Yeah.
when
And
you when you're at that
never
point where you can't
never had
walk,
surgery.
you never had surgery.
I never did.
Good for you.
Yeah, because and I did the research, and you lose mobility with each fusion, right? Because you don't have that mobility. It's frozen, so now that puts undue stress on the one above it and the one below it.
But how long ago was that for you?
Um, God, this was back in the 80s and 90s, early 90s.
The reason why I ask you that is because with the technology that they have today, it's a lot better. They've gone a lot better with these operations, and the doctor who is going to perform the surgery, he's gotten great reviews throughout the years. He's done it
Yeah.
countless times, um, and I get what you're saying because I'm the same way. I remember years ago hearing the same thing that you just said, but
Hmm.
and the mind plays tricks on you. It's scary, man. You go under the knife.
Hell yeah.
You never know, how you're gonna come out. If
Yeah,
something's gonna
especially
go
if they're
wrong way.
moving 5 of your organs just to get to the damn back.
Exactly,
That's another
exactly.
reason not to go through the front.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm
And
not gonna do that.
yeah, that's uh, that's crazy.
I
Uh,
know 2 people personally who have had the same surgery that I'm gonna have,
okay.
and they went through the back, and they said the only thing they experienced after that, they still get the spasms, but it's like once a year. It's nothing like what they used to experience.
Hmm.
So for me, I'm not a what do you call a senior citizen yet. I'm still fairly in good shape. So if I got that operation and I fused the disc, what have you, I think I'll be okay. I'm not looking to go play basketball. I've never been a ball player, but I want to be active again.
Yeah.
I don't want to be subjected to being in bed and limited with my walking and running, what have you. I want to be able to do all that again, and they say that I'll be fine. So
Um,
yeah,
Dr. Chad, good friend and chiropractor, says that research shows if you do this, you will have five, and it is less than 50% success. And
5 what? We'll
yeah,
have
I'm not
5
sure.
what?
Dr.
The
Chad, can
research
you
shows if
be
you
more
do this, you will
specific?
have 5.
5 what?
I don't know. 5
You'll
years
have 5, and it is less than 50% successful.
you've been
Shit, you
doing this
said
for
it.
30 years.
I don't know what he's. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. What he's talking about here.
We'll get a
If
confirmation
you
here.
do this, you will have 5 And it is less than 50%. Yeah, I that's not what I'm hearing. I've never heard anything like that, honestly.
Let's get confirmation from him on that,
Yeah.
Pat, if you would. Yeah, that'd be great. And I think have you ever done PEMF or terahertz healing on your back?
No.
That's what helped heal me, and
What is that? Is that like sound?
it's frequency,
Frequency. Okay.
and and I've got this thing that I just started using it again, and it's a you put your feet on it, and here
Oh
you put
wow.
your feet on it, and
Look at that.
it goes up through your system and
Interesting.
your body, and it increases your flow of your blood, but it heals at a cellular level. There's
Well,
also
my wife recently bought a small device that she puts on our nightstand at bedtime, and when I wasn't feeling too good, she put it on my nightstand, and she asked me if I felt the difference. I didn't really know, but I did sleep better.
Mm.
So if it's supposed to help you sleep, that worked, and it's just a small little device that she has. Um, let me see if I can get it. I'll show you. Hold on, let me. I'll ask her what she did. Where I think it's on her nightstand, and I'm reclined in bed right now, so I can't reach it. Is it there? Let me see it. Um, I've heard about you know the benefits of frequency healing.
Hmm.
Let me turn on my camera real quick and we do this. How do I change the view of the camera? Can I do that?
Yeah, you on an iPhone?
Yeah.
If you upper right hand corner, I think. Dr. Chad got back. He said the five was that you'll have five more. Okay. Oh,
Do you see
that's
it?
yeah, that's a sound healing device.
It goes by frequencies. You could set
Yeah.
the different frequencies on it. So
Yeah.
you've seen this.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And has she been enjoying it? Is she happy with it?
Yeah, she swears by it. And like I said, when she said it for me the other day, I'm not gonna lie, I slept better. But I haven't used it long enough to give it a review. But she swears by it. Now, what did the doctor say? I'm sorry. 5 more
Surgeries in your life.
surgeries. Oh, he's saying I'm still gonna need more surgeries if I do that procedure.
Yeah, and it continues. He said this is PubMed research stats over the last 30 years.
So
So
he's saying if I just do the L405, or if I do the whole thing.
well, yeah. And by the way, let's see. He said I would look at every option we can discuss privately because I could put you in touch with him directly too.
And that's what I'm doing, Dave. Like one of my friends, he had his operation at Columbia Presbyterian, a great hospital. Another friend of mine had his done in a hospital in Hackensack, New Jersey, another very reputable hospital. And mine would be associated with is it Beth Israel? I want to say Beth Israel, but I'm not sure. Um, but in any case, yeah, I've done a lot of research. Um, I'm not gonna go under the knife unless the not just the success rate, but the recovery time is not that long. And again, I'm not out of shape. I'm 55, and I believe for my age I'm in great shape. I should be in better shape, but I got injured a few years back, and that's limited me. But I think regardless of what procedure I choose to do, I leave it in God's hands. I've had success with surgeries in the past. Thankfully, I've always had great surgeons. Um, so at the end of the day, when the time comes, I believe that I will be in not only in God's hands, but in the hands of a great surgeon, and the results will be great. That's my belief. That's what I pray for. That's what I stand on, and that's what's going to happen. My family and my children have suffered long enough, in these past 3 years, and we don't deserve to suffer
When are
any
you
longer. So,
when are you going to schedule it? Do you know?
well, we're waiting on approval, and we should have that by probably early to mid June. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking the actual surgery will probably take place, early summer,
Mm-hmm.
which is good because the kids are out of school, and although it's an active time of year, uh, I won't have to run around as much. The pool will be open. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'll be able to relax a little more if you call it that. I never really in this house. My wife and I never. Well, I relax a lot more than she does. She does a hell of a lot more than I do. But when you have a large family, and everyone's always
Yeah.
got something going on, it's tough to relax. But I'm hearing it's a 2 week. It's 1 to 3 days in the hospital. 2 weeks of just straight up recovering, like laying up, letting your body heal, and then you go into therapy for several weeks. And if everything goes according to plan, I should be fine. Shortly after. So
People were asking me what that machine was. It's a P90 plus.
is that
And
what it is?
yeah, and I'm going to start sharing this with my audience because it's
Oh,
the
your machine.
yeah,
Your machine's a P90 plus. Okay.
it's the technology that healed my back. And actually, I healed my back with a Beamer, but it's stronger than a Beamer, and
Hmm.
it has the terahertz and the EMF, the PEMF, the pulse electromagnetic frequency. So it's an electromagnetic frequency. Your wife's machine is just the frequency. So this is like at a different. It's both very good, but
And you had
this makes you hot. This makes it can make your feet and your legs hot if you have it up too high. And I had what?
you had herniated discs.
Yeah,
Okay.
L4, L5.
Same. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was and I know what you're talking about in terms of, the pain with the family and what it does to your mood. Because I had it for my whole adult life until probably, I don't know, 10 years ago when I found it.
Man, there were times I couldn't walk.
And my sister, she came over and I had her do it. And she called me the next day. She wanted to come back and do it again because her ankle, which she broke, she's never felt what she felt with the ankle and how it loosened up for her.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that.
She's used a Beamer. She's used a laser. She has a vibration machine. Like she's tried everything. And she bought one like that. It was
Where'd
like
you get it from?
I got it through my friend Nancy, who's might be in the chat, and my friend Wayne, and they're both distributors for it. And if you all you do is buy it, but if you share it, they reward you for sharing it, but it doesn't cost you anything to make it a business, or you don't have to pay anything per month. Or
Send me the link, please.
I will.
Yeah.
And I it's Yeah, and I would. And, yeah, I just. I know you're putting it in God's hands, and I think that God has given us things to heal ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
And so
100%. He will
we,
never do for you what you can do for yourself.
yeah, yeah,
So, you first have to try to do everything you can
yeah,
on your own, before.
Steps in. If you're not showing that you're making a valid effort, he's not gonna.
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I had to plug in my charger and take off my headphones because my phone was dying. Um,
Okay, okay.
yeah, I listen. I've been under the knife many times, and every time I prayed, and thankfully, yeah, I've always come out, with no issues, and I've always had good, good hospital staff, always good experiences.
Hmm.
So I seriously doubt this being the most um surgery if we even decide to go with it, because if what you just explained to me, you just described a machine that healed you,
Yeah,
and where you didn't have to go through surgery.
yeah.
um yeah, I'm willing to try that.
And it's like the Beamer was like $5,000 to $6,000. Other machines are like really expensive. This thing was only $1,500 for that and two wands that you can go right on the spot. So you could actually put massage and thing right on your back. Um, and it's got red light therapy in it too.
My wife
And
try that.
yeah,
She
and
got
then it's got a
everything
beauty
like
thing too. It's got a beauty thing for your face.
Dave, one day I woke up and my wife had a shit. Hold on. Uh,
What happened?
she had a mask. I couldn't help. I was laughing. I'm sorry. She had a mask on her face. She had like some kind of stormtroopers mask on her face, and it was it was the red light therapy. But she had
Yeah, yeah.
she does everything red light. She every you can imagine red light therapy. She's got it. She swears by it.
Yep.
So, and I mean, I guess it does work. If you show my wife, she's amazing. She's in her 40s and she still looks like she's in her 20s. The energy that woman has is it's incomparable. No one I know can keep up with my wife. She ain't standing up, bro.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That's hilarious.
On the eat. Yeah. And she's into all these health. She's a dietitian, so she's into all these
Yeah,
healthy. But yeah, I gotta look into that. Please send me that.
I will. I definitely will, and I'll post it for everybody. I don't know if I'm going to get to it tonight, but I'll definitely keep you posted on it. And it's definitely it's like it's it's another level of anything that I've experienced. I've done a lot of different stuff, and this is like it's a different level. I'm doing it twice a day, um, and um, and it's healing my calf. I've got a calf injury, and I can feel the calf getting better every day. Injured my other calf the other day, and I got on it right away, and the swelling went down immediately. Um, yeah. So, and yeah, it's a real deal. But I'll definitely post it, and I'm also going to have a naturopath on in the next couple days, I think, to talk about it as to what's actually happening on a cellular level
Cool.
uh, with this thing. Um, so, what when you think about just the war and everything that's happening right now, what do you the big picture that you see? is that they're just, basically lining up all the, like when you said that, Cash was talking about how long they've been looking into Comey, 9, 10, 11 months. That was a calm to me.
100%.
And and it also was a calm to, this is what Bondi has been working on.
Right.
It wasn't Todd Blanche coming in and doing all that work. He was coming in and, you know um, basically crossing the finish line of a marathon that Bondi was running.
Yeah, I agree, and I think she's in Southern District of Florida right now. That's my opinion.
Yep, I think you're right.
Yeah, and they brought in real quick before I go back to Iran. They brought in Joe DeGeneva.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's huge, bro.
Yes, man.
Yeah,
Yes,
talk about that if you would,
that's my
because
guy. That's my guy. I've been saying this shit for years. I kid you not. I actually did a long thread
dude,
on.
you mentioned Joe DeGeneva on this show before.
Yeah, man, because I knew when he came back. Notice how he disappeared.
Yeah.
Right, he's gone, and nobody heard from for years. And I always said when he comes back into the picture, that's when it's really gonna get serious because he knew everything from the beginning. Him and his wife, they were on top of everything. And every time I saw them on Fox, wherever you saw them, the information they were putting out was no bullshit. It was the real deal, And he's got the experience and the connections that it would take to go up against the deep state. So that's somebody you want to keep out of the spotlight and working for you behind the scenes. And in my opinion, that's what he's been doing all along. Right. So now when does he resurface? When Pam Bondi is relieved of her duties and
Mm-hmm.
Blanche is the acting AG. But oh, by the way, we're gonna bring in Joe DeGeneva as his advisor. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
he's technically he's Trump's consigliere.
Yeah. And here he is, September 20th, 2018, in the Q drops. Panic in DC, James Baker testifying against Comey, and it all has to do with Comey.
That's right. And in that video, which I have archived by the way, because you can't find it, he talked about Comey lawyering up because Baker's testifying against him. That was it was I remember it clearly. Sean Hannity, and right after Sean Hannity, it was Laura Ingraham, and Laura Ingraham had him on,
Mm-hmm.
said, for the world to see, Comey better lawyer up because James Baker is pretty much turning state's evidence on you. And that was 2018, right?
Yeah.
That was
Yep.
2018. A
Yep.
lot of jobs from 2018 are coming to fruition right now, you know, and it just makes you think, like we were saying before, and we've heard the phrase, "We have it all." Trump said it. I caught them all. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. That's. I mean, why would he say that? Why would he say that?
He
Yeah,
doesn't say anything that hasn't been proven true.
that's right. But do you really believe that he would say that? No, going to be attacked by the mainstream media if it wasn't true.
Right.
I mean, come
Right.
on, you gotta at this point. If you're not convinced of the fact that they're in control of the narrative, then you really haven't been paying attention to what
Mm-hmm.
what's the latest. We got this what is she, a senator from Virginia?
Yeah.
She got a weed spot next door to her office, and you're involved with that. And I mean, and you're crying now because they're doing an investigation into you. I mean, seriously, you can't make this up. Can't make it up. You had what's her face, Pramila Jayapal, come out and fucking simping for Cuba
Yeah, how about that?
with a dress that had the MERS and the SARS and the COVID. Fucking look at it. Look at her
Oh,
dress.
let me bring that up.
Look at her dress.
That's unbelievable.
Look at it. She's wearing a COVID dress.
Well, here's the thing. Just on the Spanberger thing, right?
That's
This
deep.
this came out today. The FBI and armed SWAT are actively raiding the office of top Virginia Democrat Senate President pro tempore L. Louise Lucas, an ally of Governor Abigail Spanberger. They arrived with weapons drawn at a nearby cannabis dispensary, with people being handcuffed and taken away. The raids, 10 plus locations, are connected to a major corruption investigation, per Fox.
You gotta
Wow.
love. You gotta love it. And they seriously thought they were gonna get away with it all.
Yeah. We know that the senator is associated with several cannabis locations and dispensaries.
Yeah. So what did Q say about the Democrats and their control over the black population?
Oh, dude, that was the whole Supreme Court case. I did a dive on that the other night. Right?
They haven't fully experienced the Great Awakening, and when they do, in my opinion, it's the black community that's the key to all of this,
Yeah.
because they, and I'm not a racist. I never have been, but they are very racist, and a lot of them are very ignorant because their egos are
In
so big.
January,
Sorry. Go
That's
ahead.
okay. Their egos are so big they can't get past their own bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
They hate Trump so much. Why? Because they are racist. They can't see all of his accomplishments because they just want to believe that he's a racist. So it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter what he does, you know. It's just joke at this point, Dave.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
joke. But they haven't experienced their awakening yet, and when they do, it's game over for the Democrat Party, and it's coming. We're seeing it now.
Yep.
You go ahead, play that.
Yeah.
This is hilarious.
This is unbelievable.
in January, Trump issued an executive order threatening tariffs on any country supplying fuel to Cuba. This was this January, just a few months ago. And oil shipments from Venezuela, that's where Cuba had been getting its oil, were halted after the U.S. operations to kidnap Nicolas Maduro.
By the way, she should be at a Grateful Dead concert right now with that dress on. I'll take that much.
Since January, only one Russian tanker of oil has made it to Cuba. In fact, it landed just a couple of days before I landed. And one tanker has enough oil basically for 10 to 14 days of Cuba's oil needs. So it's a very limited amount of time. Now, Russia has said they're going to send another tanker. I was in conversations with the ambassadors from Mexico and some other places, and I know other countries in Latin America are trying to figure out how to get oil there. But it is a crisis beyond imagination. Just this past Friday, on May 1st, Trump signed a broad executive order that widens sanctions and allows for new penalties, similar to what we have for Iran and Russia, against foreign banks and firms that are dealing with Cuba. And it also reinforces the ban on US tourism. I have called these sanctions an economic bombing of the infrastructure of Cuba. It is illegal. It is against the war. We've been talking about this in Iran, obviously, to bomb the infrastructure of any country. That is against international law. This is essentially doing the same thing. It is bombing the infrastructure of Cuba with economic sanctions that essentially ensure that the infrastructure collapses.
This is unbelievable.
Isn't it?
I mean, this is the Logan Act right here. This
That's
is
right.
why the Logan Act was written.
That's right. She should be arrested on the. She should have been arrested on the spot.
Yeah.
You know, but they're showing us. That's ammunition for me and you. You know, so
Yeah.
whenever somebody tries to cry that Trump is a communist dictator, no, motherfucker, these people,
Mhm.
they're the communist dictators. They want to do business with Cuba and Venezuela. You know, Trump is ending all of that. So yeah, I mean,
Well, the other thing too
it's
is that the he said it's against international law to bomb infrastructure. Well, not if you're at war. And by the way, if she's concerned about bombing infrastructure, um, you know, I mean, that's every war that there is. Um, it's just, yeah, it's her, trying to be relevant and be
In
completely
January,
outside of her purview.
rhetoric, Dave. It's
Yeah,
rhetoric. Didn't happen.
yeah.
No bomb Venezuela's infrastructure. You know, it's
Mhm.
Cuba has been in control of Venezuela for a very long time. You know, and so Trump deaded that. Right, he ended
Yeah,
Cuba's control of
yeah,
Venezuela. And so here we have this Democrat evil piece of shit, you know, simping for a communist regime. In your
yeah,
face, right here in our homeland, one of our congressional representatives
yeah,
simping for a communist party. But Trump's the dictator, and Trump is the, evil one.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can't make it up.
It's next level. It's next level rhetoric and just trying to again. I mean, what do you think about Hakeem Jeffries and Trump's kind of a feud, if you will? Um, Trump's calling him out, low IQ individual.
But with Hakeem, and I know this for a fact, he's been connected to um, people in Brooklyn. Let's just say, uh,
Hmm.
long time, and I remind myself of the meeting he had at the Oval Office not that long ago. Him and Chuck Schumer went to the Oval Office, and I believe during that meeting, Trump pretty much told him how things were going to go down. And much like what we've seen over the years with Hillary and Obama, so on and so forth, where they have to portray this hatred towards Trump, in the public eye, I think that he's already been put into submission, um, and he's just and going through this humiliation phase right now. It will come out, his connections to the people in Brooklyn, in my opinion. It will come out, it will eventually come out. Uh, but right now I think he's trying to remain relevant, you know.
You're
Uh,
you're talking about the the juice in Brooklyn.
no, that's Schumer. I'm talking about, how Trump referred to him as a thug?
Yeah.
Right. Because he has connections to certain thugs in Brooklyn.
Ah, okay.
They're not low level thugs.
Oh, and you're talking about low IQ.
Yes.
Um,
But
Hakeem.
these are high level thugs who once were highly respected by John Guy's life. You understand?
Highly respected by who?
John Gotti,
Okay.
right? People from the mob. And for those listening who don't know how the mob operates, when they need work to be done, always use their own. Okay. A lot of times they go to other parts of the city, other sets, to get dirty work done. And that guy's affiliated with those sets from Brooklyn that happens to those types of people. I know this for a fact. And I think Trump is going to start pulling that out, and that's why he referred to him as a thug, because that's what he
Mm,
is. You
mm,
know, he grew up with these people. He's still very tight with these people. When you look at, I'll give you an example. The Gotti brothers out of Queens, um, Chris and Irv Gotti, who were in the music industry on the same level as Puffy, Sean Combs and Jay Z and them. Um, he died shortly. Irv Gotti, Chris Gotti's still alive. Irv Gotti used to produce a guy named Ja Rule, who was he had a very um, high profile beef with 50 Cent. And this is a real beef in New York, in Queens, New York. This wasn't a radio beef or, a make believe story. This was real beef they had, in, and it extended out into Harlem and the Bronx. And this guy Irv Gotti was set to become a billionaire. Okay, through his through his music and through his productions in the music industry, he was set to become a billionaire, and he died. Um, that in my opinion is part of what goes on, not just in the music industry, but in New York. And there's some heavy players in politics involved with that, and he's one of them. This guy, low IQ.
mm-hmm.
So I think Trump knows what I'm referring to. I don't want to say certain things. Obviously, I'm trying to be careful with what I'm saying. But Trump obviously knows a hell of a lot more than I do. And I'm sure he knows Team's background and who he's involved with. It's coming down to the pike now where Puffy is still not in the clear. You know, Puffy was definitely involved with Epstein, and so was he. And this was his circle. Hakeem Jeffries, you know about his affiliation with Epstein. Part of it was brought out in the Epstein emails when they declassified all of the files, where they solicited Epstein to appear in one of his dinner fundraisers where Obama was on the ticket, and this
Yeah,
was
yeah.
Epstein.
We were getting. I read that on the show the other night. Was Yeah, he was getting tickets.
Yeah, and
Um,
this was after they knew Epstein. And this was after Epstein was convicted.
yeah,
Of,
in 2008. Yes. Yeah. And by the way, did you see the Schumer post? The White House posted Cinco de Mayo of with Jeffries and Schumer. It says, I love illegal immigrants. United States border. They're having margaritas and chips."
that
And that was the White House. And then Chuck Schumer posted this.
oh, come on,
Right? I mean, it's like,
come on. They have nothing.
No.
If Trump did not exist, what would the Democrat Party have right now?
If
Like,
Trump didn't what?
if he didn't exist,
Oh,
if
yeah.
if he wasn't part of the picture, what would they have? What have they? And I tried to find something that they actually did for the American people. Nothing.
Mm-mm.
They done for us. For the last 8 to 10 years, it's been all about getting Trump.
Yeah.
Like Trump, they ran campaigns on Trump, on defeating Trump all the time.
Yeah.
So the more we expose their bullshit and their actual crimes, the quicker all this will be done with and over.
Yeah. By the way, his post on Jeffries, important to note. This is 26 capital letters.
There you go.
And we know where that takes us, folks. That takes us right to drop 26. Think about it logically. The only way is the military, fully controlled, save and spread. Once 11.3 verifies as first marker, biggest advance drop on post online.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's and by the way, what's interesting about that too is well, we've got a lot of 5-5 comms, but this was May 1st when he posted this on Truth. At 11:13. But
The wild cards. When he posted the wild cards,
oh yeah, right.
he posted that, if I'm not mistaken, right. One of them was at 6:20, and I think that was not the first post. I should say. I think that was the second post. And whenever I see him do things like that, I go to the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the mirror of 6:20? 26.
Yeah, and also the and 62. Oh, money.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say 62 also takes us to the think mirror on this 26. Taking all the crumbs and put into a massive dump, single shot. They're beginning to understand, as Podesta's attorney was just notified, all my dumps are being recorded. But again, it doesn't matter. Alice in Wonderland. Where's Barack Obama today? And I mean, it's leading more and more to Barack Obama. I mean, he's going down. That's just a matter of damn time, because it's just ridiculous how many comms that we've gotten over him, over Hillary, just in the past couple weeks alone.
Do an interview today on Colbert or yesterday.
Yeah. And they're trying to get him on the thing. I'll show a little bit of it here. Trying to get him on the talking about the aliens.
All right. Earlier this year, you said of aliens,
Yes.
He can't.
quote, they're real, but I haven't seen them.
He can't talk about classified
The real,
information.
I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground
Right.
facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
I can't hear you.
And
You can't hear it?
No.
Hmm.
But as a former president, I don't think he can speak on classified information.
That's what President Trump said, right? That's what he said. Trump said he that's national security, and he's not allowed to talk about that. He said maybe I'll declassify the UFO files to save him.
So that tells you that this. And well, I'm saying this. It's more of the humiliation phase, right? Because all the information we have on Obama going back to his administration and leading into Trump's first term, that's enough to put him away for life or even execute him.
Yeah.
But he just seems to just keep, digging his hole even deeper. And you could say, oh, he just don't care, he knows he's untouchable, whatever. I don't think so. I think that they're purposely showing us so that, the normies can see what this guy is doing. If you look at that interview with him and Colbert, a good portion of that interview, he's looking down to the right. You can tell he's lying.
Mm-hmm.
When people are lying, they don't look you in the eye.
Right.
Running away, especially down to the right. That's lying.
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Down to the right is line.
100%. And he did that quite. Look,
To the right.
Almost
The right
every
period, yeah.
hmm So I mean, and I know, for those who have studied Colbert, putting those two guys together, I mean,
Yeah.
believe a word that comes out of either one of their mouths. Knowing, so it's just a matter of time before everyone starts to piece it together.
Yeah, I mean, well, Colbert's going bye-bye, right? His show's over soon, if not already. When's Colbert's show going to be over, guys?
They canceled his show?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he should be. I think he's done sometime here in May, actually.
So let me my theory on that, because we've heard that time and time again, right? We heard it with DeGeneres,
Uh-huh.
with what's his face, Kimmel. Initially, they canceled him, then they brought him back, whatever.
Yeah.
So my theory to all this is that they've been called up. The indictment came up, and their time is over now.
I agree.
I prove it, but it's just a feeling that I've always had. And then the other thing is, and I was going to say earlier, with these grand jury cases, and specifically with a RICO case, we could wake up one day and find hundreds of thousands of people indicted, and that's not an exaggeration.
No, not at all. Yeah.
And so I believe that part of what we're witnessing is certain people are being given the opportunity to come clean, but they have to humiliate themselves along the way.
Mhm.
Others have been completely taken out of the picture, quite literally. I posted today, where's Beto? Right? Where's Beto O'Rourke?
Yeah, right.
Where's Mitt Romney?
Hmm.
Where are all these people who were very vocal during the first administration, right? They hated Trump.
Yeah.
I know, and just think about it. Think to yourself, like who do you not see anymore, and why? Certain people flying when they were flying in private jets or first class, or being escorted. Now they're just flying regular coach. How many movies and shows are we seeing with no A-list actors? Just new actors out of nowhere. Just these new actors. Why not these A-list actors?
By
So
the way, Beto O'Rourke, last posted January 20th. And before that, January 13th.
yeah, and it's not. I mean, you can't just say, "Oh, you trying to do it." It just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
As for someone to just disappear. His last post was 2020. Come on.
Yeah.
Remember, and I unfortunately I can't find any of the footage. They definitely scrubbed it. They've scrubbed a lot of things off the internet that we're never gonna find again. On an archive real time, you're never gonna see it again. But when El Chapo was brought in for his case initially, he turned on Pelosi and Beto. He told us that he was paying them off.
That he
Okay,
would what?
he was paying them off. He gave them $10 million to Pelosi and Beto. Okay, and we never saw that again. And his trial went dark.
Mm.
Remember, they didn't televise anything. You didn't hear shit about his trial.
No.
The most, I don't know if you riffing, but next to Pablo Escobar, probably the most successful drug trafficker.
You're breaking up a bit.
Am I?
Yeah.
Of course. How about now?
Better.
Okay. El Chapo, for those who don't know, is credited with creating the tunnel systems coming from Mexico to the United States. Okay, when it comes to drug trafficking, he mastered the tunnel systems. Right. He, in my opinion, and I think it's even documented, made more money than Pablo Escobar. And so when and remember, he he escaped, I want to say, prison initially, and then they went and got him again. But when they put him in prison the first time, he wasn't really in prison. He was coming and going whenever he wanted, living like a king in prison, what have you, until they extradited him here. But in any case, when he knew that he was caught, when they extradited him here, he started talking. And he gave up Pelosi and he gave up Beto. And then after that, they refused to televise his hearings. And you didn't pretty much hear anything about him until his son was arrested. And on that day, Trump had just announced, I think it was a presidential proclamation, and he wasn't even president. He had made a proclamation about destroying the cartels. And that same day, they arrested El Chapo's son. Within the hour, they arrested El Chapo's son. You can go look this up. It's still out there. So again, who's in control? Who's really in control?
Right.
If Trump has it all, then he has all this information, and they really have no leverage. Even Pelosi, I don't know where she is right now, but I believe that she was allowed to remain relevant for optics.
I agree.
And then
She was with the marshals at the inauguration.
that's right. They were escorting her around.
And they were
Yep.
telling her what she could and couldn't say. I mean, they were walking in. We heard that conversation. I played it live here. I mean, it's like, it was no joke. Those were U.S. Marshals. We figured that out. We figured that shit out. Most of this stuff has already been done.
Right.
By the way, where's Maxine Waters? Watch the water, right? And here she hasn't posted since March 16th. And before that was March 8th. And Jeffries is he's voting for her, which is not okay.
No.
I mean, and so that's another reason I think why Trump is outing Jeffries. And Jeffries obviously, called the Supreme Court illegitimate because the Supreme Court is finally voting against the racial you know, gerrymandering that's been going on, right?
Right. And Ketanji Jackson Brown, she was
Yeah.
annihilated by by the
Yeah.
other witnesses, and rightfully so. She shouldn't even be a
No.
but
That it was an illegal hire in more ways than one.
yeah.
You know, capped off with the fact that she was signed in on the auto pen. So that's illegitimate, right? Um,
She still doesn't know what a woman is.
yeah, yeah, that was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous, unbelievable. Um, so also, a judge ruled that the federal government can keep the 2020 election ballots seized from Georgia. That's going to be huge.
So remember when Melania was showing the tree in the White House, and she reached for one of the ornaments. That ornament said Georgia, and it's stuck
Uh-huh.
because they could have focused on any other ornament, but they just had to focus on that one. And Georgia has been, a main focal point throughout all of this. And I truly believe that it's going to start with Georgia, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it right now. Arizona's a big one, but Georgia's the biggest, in my opinion. Georgia, Pennsylvania, and then Arizona. But it's all going to be close. We know they cheated. I believe that there's stuff that we don't know, right? That they will show us eventually. And I look back at Mike Lindell and the whole, PCAPS thing that he did. That was an amazing investigation he did. I mean, he did have the evidence that foreign entities were stealing our election real time, but no judge would look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean it's not you know evidence. It doesn't mean that it's not important. It doesn't mean they're gonna discard it forever. I think Trump has all of that and then some. So I don't think you've ever been where, as far as when it comes to the justice system.
Have I been what? I'm sorry.
Where I've been when it comes to the system.
Not, no, not that far down that rabbit hole. No.
Right. So when I think about these situations, I think back to my own personal experience and what happens, and you've seen it in movies and TV shows and what have you. When the feds come for you, they got you. It's over.
Yeah, they've got a 98, 99% conviction rate.
Yeah, it's over. They've been investigating you for minimum 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we've been investigating them for 6 months or 8 months or nine. No, they've been investigating you for 2 years minimum, and they got everything and everyone they need. So when you put things in perspective, I put out there that created this facility, or they have this many indictments, or they rounded up this many people, what have you. These are investigations that have been going on for a very long time, and the people that they're rounding up, most of them are not really important. They're like low hanging fruit, but some of those people are very important people, and they're not going to tell you who they are. But rest assured that those people are giving up other people up the chain. You understand? So when you
Mm-hmm.
stay in Virginia, where they raided the offices of what is she, a senator from Virginia, I believe they said, right?
She was a pro tempore for the Senate.
For the Senate, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, I said senator, but that's what I meant. And then you see that they they also raided a business adjacent to her office that she was actually affiliated with, and it happens to be marijuana.
Yeah.
Trust me that it's more than marijuana.
Yeah.
When it comes to Virginia, DC, South Carolina, North Carolina, Baltimore, and you can keep going up, Jersey, New York, Connecticut, that whole East Coast, the drug trade is you know it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Um, it escapes me at the moment. But it's like it's like they made lack of a better, and they're all connected.
You broke up on that.
They're all connected. They're all connected. Can you hear me?
You mean all the cannabis stores?
No, all the states. I'm saying that every state up and down the East Coast, they're all connected. So when you see someone like her involved, she's a pro tempore to the Senate, but there's a cannabis business adjacent to her office involved in this raid. That I don't think they're raiding the weed spot. I'm saying it's way bigger than that.
Right.
And I'm going by what I know up and down the East Coast. Every state is connected. When you get to that level where someone in I guess she's part of the Virginia Congress, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
She's a government official of Virginia, high ranking. Let's just say.
Mhm.
When you get to that level, you're in with the top dogs of the drug trade within that state.
Yeah.
And the same goes for every state, every official, like Jeffries. I was hinting towards that earlier, right? His connections in Brooklyn. It's there's no disconnect. They are all connected. Have you ever heard of BMF?
BMF.
BMF,
What's this stand for?
the Black Mafia family.
Yeah, I've heard of. I haven't heard it called that. I've heard. Is it the same thing as the black nobility?
No,
Okay.
no. So black nobility is on another level. But BMF at one point controlled most of the drug trade in the whole United States. But they absolutely controlled the drug trade on the Eastern Coast. And they were all connected. Okay, from Detroit to New York to Atlanta to Miami and everything in between. This is no exaggeration. And they had very powerful people involved with their, put it this way, they're out. The leaders of that crew, they're free men right now. Where they should have spent the rest of their lives in jail, they're out. And a lot of the individuals that went down with them are out. And that was a RICO case. Okay. So when it comes to that type of business, it's about who you know and what.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So by them going, in my opinion, there's a lot more involved than just a cannabis dispensary and a pro tempore, Senate, in the Senate of Virginia. She's going to lead to a lot of other people involved, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Good to know. Have you been following the LA mayor's race at all?
No, I have not.
I want to share this with you. So Spencer Pratt, he's running for mayor, and his house was burned down in the Palisades fire. So they had a debate tonight. This is a part of that debate, and he's up against Karen Bass, who's the current mayor, who was in Ghana when the fires hit, and had that very interesting conversation that everyone's like, what the fuck, with one of her people. Check this out.
This is a yes or no question and answer.
This is Pratt.
This is Spencer. No, this is the moderator.
So
Okay.
there's a council member. He wants voters
Pratt's on the left and Karen Bass in the middle, and then this other woman, I forget her name.
to decide. He is saying that non-citizens, should they be allowed to vote in local elections? Is this a yes or no, Mr. Pratt?
No.
Mayor Bass?
It
I
depends.
can't hear
It's not a
anything,
yes or
Dave.
no.
Oh, I'm sorry. So he said, should should non-citizens be allowed to vote in elections? He said no.
Depends on what?
She said it depends.
Well, first of all, when you say
Wow.
non-citizens, it doesn't mean they're here illegal. It does.
When you say non-citizens, she said it doesn't mean they're here illegally.
Doesn't mean they're undocumented. They could have
But
green
you
cards.
don't want to play it? Is that what it is?
No, I want to play it, but you're not hearing it. Right?
I'm not hearing it. No.
Yeah. So she basically gives a word
Be
salad.
here perfectly legal cities that do that on very see what the councilman is proposing.
Council member Bremen.
Yeah, I would say, again, it does depend. In other places, school boards have
It was a yes
I don't even hear
you now.
non-citizens who vote
Mr. Pratt, I have a question for
who are
you.
Yeah, so they're basically both word salads, and he says flat out no. Non-citizens should not be able to vote. And I think he's gonna win this race, by the way. His house got burned down. He's been very critical of the rebuild because it's just not happening. You know, Adam Carolla is doing stuff showing the rebuild of one place in Malibu on the beach. That's it. And because they're making them build them like so far above what's cost effective for people. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So they're not letting them rebuild is the bottom line. So he's yeah. So so yeah, the feds have the Georgia. So Georgia's going to be exposed. That's going to be good. Right?
That's going to be the nail in their coffin. Because remember, he had that conversation with Spanberger where he was just saying, you know, just find me, what was it, 10 votes, something like that, or 10,000? Was it?
20,000 votes. Yeah.
But he knew that they
Yeah.
and
He knew the exact number.
right.
They knew they have it all. It's really, you know, like we're talking about, like some people, they're all capitulating, right? And I've and it's like the Supreme Court, right? And I've said this. I think I brought this up recently. I don't think I've said it with you, but we know that the Biden inauguration was not shot live. We know it was not shot on that day, right? I showed that with one frame of video they're trying to scrub from the internet. They've altered some of the posts so it doesn't show Hunter on both sides of the stage. I've showed you that, right?
Yeah.
So we know this, right? So that means that anybody that was at that inauguration has already capitulated. And that includes 6 out of 9 Supreme Court judges. Because they would have known it wasn't on the right day. They would have known what's going on here. Why are we doing multiple takes? of the same thing. Why are they moving people around? What's really going on, right?
Well, one of them, right?
What's that?
Judge Bear is gone already. He was one of the SCOTUS's at the time. Remember, he abruptly announced that he was,
Oh, yeah.
and he was appointed by the Clintons. Hillary actually worked under him during
Watergate?
Watergate.
Yeah, that's right.
Under him during Watergate. And you know what that was really about? That was about pedophilia within, at that time it was the Republican Party, but it was basically all of DC. And he was then years later when Clinton was president, nominated to become the SCOTUS. But he abruptly just came out of nowhere announcing his resignation. Remember that? Judge Bear or Breyer.
Breyer. Yeah, Breyer. Yeah. And Breyer was the one that fired Hillary?
No. She was fired for lying. But it wasn't Breyer. I don't think it was Breyer that fired her. She was just removed.
Okay.
She was removed. I don't think it was her that fired her. Him that fired me.
I don't know the pedophile story about the Watergate.
I'll have to dig. I'm going off memory right now. You know me.
I'd like to share that with everybody here if you think about it. Yeah, so Breyer was assistant special prosecutor on the Watergate Special Prosecution Force led by Archibald Cox. He worked for about 3 to 4 months during the summer of 73. So, but back to what I was saying, if you look at, so the Supreme Court justices who attended Joe Biden's inauguration was Roberts, who administered the oath, Sotomayor, who administered the oath to Kamala, Kagan, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett. First time in more than 20 years that not all justices were present for presidential inauguration. Okay. So, and Breyer and Clarence Thomas was not there, and Samuel Alito was not there. They skipped it due to COVID-19 pandemic health risks, right? Because I guess maybe because they were older. But if you think about it, every single one of these people were they know that was not what it was supposed to be. So how do you get around that? Pelosi, McConnell, what do you call it? Gaga. They were all in. They all have to know, right?
Yeah, J-Lo was there.
J-Lo, right?
Rodriguez was there. It was probably a theme movie in the future,
Yeah, and it's like, well, why? If they were there, then they know what was going on. Bernie Sanders. Oh my God. How about that picture, that meme with him with the mittens on and the mask with his legs crossed with that coat? You remember that picture?
Yeah, I've seen so many with that. That was, yeah.
Oh, with mittens. Bernie Sanders at inauguration with mittens. Okay, we gotta pull this one up here. Okay, this was just too fucking priceless right here.
I'm surprised that you never heard of the Watergate scandal being like the original Pedalgate. You know, I'm gonna have to dig to find what I recall. It had something to do with it was very similar to Epstein actually. The Black Book. It was about a black that they were trying to hide because the Black Book contained all the information of all the politicians involved
Mm-hmm.
with pedophilia. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you recall the Franklin cover up, this predated that. So I'm trying to remember and I can't remember. I'll have to look. But there was an investigation, and there was a detective who had come out and said that it was really about a book, a black book. Um, and involved. So I'm gonna have to really do a deep dive on this because I know the internet is fucking scrubbed. So I got to go to the Wayback Machine,
Mm.
find the information. But I recall it. I recall it. Trying to cover up um, the pedophilia. It was back in those days, you know. Um, and if you look at the Franklin scandal, I'm not trying to skate over this. I just don't remember too much from that time, and I don't have the information in front of me on that. But if you look at the Franklin cover up, right?
Yeah.
Um, same politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, there was a lot of Republicans, if not the majority.
Yep, mostly Republicans.
Yeah.
Yep. Biden was there and Bush was there. They were all,
Mhm.
and I recall vividly the people who were interviewed saying that this went all the way up to the top. And at the time,
Yes.
Bush
Yeah.
Senior was vice president and
Yeah.
Biden, so knowing what we know now, can we, you know, disclude them from that conversation? Fuck no.
Hmm.
They were probably the reason why it never went, full scale. What was his name? Bocce? Bob, Paul Bonacci? Was that his name? The guy that finally came forward and talked about everything? Bonacci. I forget his name.
I do too.
Was it Peter or Paul? Something Bonacci. But they made him out to be a heroin addict, and they didn't believe him. But they paid
Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
right? But they
Yeah.
paid him, gave him a settlement. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Him, and there was another one. There was another guy where at the end of the day he didn't show up for the final. But prior to that, him too. He gave everybody up. Yeah, he was naming names, but they buried it all. I think Paul Bonacci. Eh, that's what keeps coming to me. Paul Bonacci. But it was a very well documented, documentary that they were. I think it was PBS that was gonna put it out there, and then at the last minute they decided not to. But the guy who put it all together put it out anyway. Um, what was the name of that? I forget the name of that.
What's that? The Boys Town or the
Yeah, meant
Franklin cover up?
no, it was. I think it was about Boys Town. No, no, it was a Franklin cover up. It was a Franklin cover up. And
Yeah.
silent, in silent.
They're the same. They're the same. The Boys Town was used. Um, the credit union was tapped into the Franklin Credit Union was tapping into the Boys Town.
Oh yeah, they
That's
were. Yeah, it was all
where
one. Yeah.
those guys came from that you're talking about.
Conspiracy of Silence. Conspiracy of Silence, I believe, was the name of it.
Okay.
Is that it? Let me look at
Um,
conspiracy. Silence.
I know Kathy O'Brien's was the transformation of America. I have that.
That's not. I thought that was it, but it's not it.
Yeah, it was a British documentary
Conspiracy.
about the child prostitution ring in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yep.
It was pulled from broadcast at the last minute.
Yes, I think it was PBS that was going to put it out there, and then they decided not to at the last minute. It's conspiracy.
Mhm.
The full documentary is still out there.
Mm.
Still out there. It's on YouTube. Conspiracy Silence full band documentary, 1994.
Nice.
But this took place in the 80s, so it was it was published in 1994, but it took place in the early 80s in Omaha and it's all.
By the way, this is a big. I've had it up on the screen for a minute. The California Court of Appeals just denied the petitions filed by the state and the city. They lost their appeal, and they're going to allow discovery of like Karen Bass's deleted texts and city and state attempts to manipulate, conspire information and data to avoid accountability regarding the LA fires.
Oh, she's done.
Oh, dude, this is all going to come out.
Hold up, Dave, because I'm pretty sure you did it. You did a show on this.
Yeah.
Remember, she had the torch in the Oval Office with Trump. Remember that?
Yeah, oh my God.
You didn't do a show on that?
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, the she's holding the Olympic torch.
That's right.
That's unbelievable.
That's right. And so, in my opinion, that is telling us that she's cooperating, that she gave everyone up.
Mm.
So, regardless of what transpires out of what you just mentioned,
It did reek of like Trump, because Trump was saying, "Oh, I met with the wonderful Karen Bass," whatever. It's like he wouldn't have said that unless she capitulated.
yeah, they're both smiling.
Yeah. Lisa Lindbergh has a question for us. Dave, what are your thoughts about these data centers going up everywhere? Maybe Oliver could give his thoughts also.
Well, it's necessary. We need data centers. Our future is going to be based off data. And so Trump has mentioned it many times. He wants to lead the world when it comes to AI. And you can't lead the world in AI if you don't have these massive data centers, which they already have, and they have had for decades now. It's becoming more commonplace because we're moving into a new era. We're moving into like the George Jetsons era. Literally. It's just a matter of time before we're in these little flying cars, But you have to have it. You have to have these huge data centers because if not, we're going to lose to countries like China. So.
Well, I wonder if the electrical things that they need for these data centers, I wonder if there's going to be a different electricity. Because
Dave, he already introduced the nuclear fusion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He put a reactor in Colorado.
Yeah.
Expect, what is it, 5 more? I think he said 4 or 5 more in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I believe that there's other technology out there even superior to that Trump knows and is probably using already. Tesla technology. Where they harness the energy from the atmosphere. Right?
Yeah.
There's energy all around us. Once you reach a certain height, which is why all these electrical wires are always above us. Not
Yep. Yep. Um, yeah, it's all it's all coming out. I did want to comment on uh, one of the comments that doesn't think anything's going to happen until after she's dead. Marie, I feel like this is never going to end. Deep state to deep. I am so frustrated. Something big should have happened by now. I will be dead before I see anything. Oliver, would you care to comment on that?
well. Listen, we all know people who have died. You know, whether they're close to us in our family or in the neighborhood, a friend, whatever. You know, we're all gonna die, and whether we die knowing something or not doesn't change anything. And I get the frustration, but I always say to myself, and I hope this helps. We've been indoctrinated for so long. You have to truly put things into perspective. It's gonna take a long time for the indoctrination to be reversed.
Mm-hmm.
For people to finally wake up and start really seeing what's going on, right? You and I have been seeing stuff for years, but a lot of people still don't see it. So I would say instead of saying, well, we're not seeing anything, how come this is not happening? How come that's not happening? Ask yourself, how long have you been lied to, right? How long
Mm-hmm.
we been on, certain narratives or under the control of mainstream media and the CIA. It's going to take some time to break away from all of that, even though I believe they already have, you know, um, publicly in the eye of the beholder, it hasn't happened yet. And there's a reason for it. You can't just bring it out all in one shot. You have to introduce evidence little by little, right? Drip, drip,
Yeah.
and it has to be solid evidence to the point where, like we were just talking about, either they capitulate or they're just taken out. And there's more good than bad, right? Many people were forced into situations, so they're more valuable to you or to, Trump and his administration alive, because they can continue to give hands-on or eyewitness information, eyewitness evidence that can corroborate the evidence they have. And in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion, they allow certain people to remain game, right? Because it also sends a message to the deep state, the people on the other side, right? This person is taking a picture with Trump in the Oval Office and she's smiling, holding a torch. What is that saying to the people that she's been rocking with all this time? Oh,
Yeah.
she might have turned on us, right? So
Yeah.
we got to just give it more time. It's tough waking up and saying to yourself, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? You're just adding more pressure to your everyday life.
Yeah.
Focus on your life, your health, your family, watch things as they play out, contribute however you can, to truth and justice. But don't, drag yourself down with questions that we really don't have. It's just gonna drive you crazy.
Well, so much of it, just to you know jump on to what you're saying, is that the judges needed to be exposed. The judicial branch needed to be exposed before anything happened, because otherwise they'd just be let out.
That's right.
And we have to expose that before there's anything going on with any going after him, because otherwise it's not going to stick.
Well, Q told us that.
Yeah.
Q told us that we can't expect people like Obama and Hillary, uh, you know, for them to be arrested when you have these corrupt judges. It's not going to work. And we witnessed that during Trump's, you know, 34 convictions.
Mm-hmm.
They will basically do whatever they want until they're caught. Right? We've seen some judges go to jail recently, right? And we're seeing now Judge, what's his name, Boasberg, whatever.
Yeah.
Name keep popping up because he was involved heavily
Mhm.
during the Obama administration with the whole Trump impeachment thing and the Russia hoax and all of that. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just a matter of time before people like that you're just not going to hear from them again. And cases are going to continue to go to the Supreme Court, and they're going to continue to rule in our favor, and that's what has to happen because then you can't reverse it. Once it reaches that level, that's it. You
Mm.
understand? So unfortunately, we have to go through these channels and allow these cases to reach the Supreme Court because that's the end all be all, pretty much, when it comes to law and decisions, right? That's the ultimate appeals court. So
Mhm.
that's where we are, and we're seeing it happen in real time. I get your frustration. My wife and her family, they're skeptics. And I went through so much shit with them over the years, but they finally, now their train of thought is entirely different. Where it used to be a million questions and so much doubt and so much fear porn and all of that,
Yeah.
now kind of like aligning on a lot of topics. Not 100% yet, but we are in alignment with many topics that we see on the daily. And you got to remind yourselves, folks, that the media they're gonna continue to put stuff out there to try to swing the narrative in one direction or the other. You can't allow yourself to be persuaded by any of it. You have to dig in and use discernment and come to your own conclusions on all of these matters. And
Mhm.
best thing to do is what we're doing right here. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Even if you disagree on things, just
That's the transparency you're talking about is just talking about it, right? Um,
look at Ilhan Omar. Why hasn't she? Well, there's a lot more that needs to be exposed when it comes to and her husband
yeah,
into the equation, right?
totally.
You can't just take her out without taking him out and his whole regime. You have to allow them to continue to commit the crimes.
Yeah.
When you finally go in and get them, there's no escaping from it. Getting one, now you got 100 or more. They were done after Ilhan early on when we found out, the crime she committed with her brother. They would have just replaced her. They would have put somebody else in her position, and we wouldn't know what we know right now. What do we got? What do we got with Trump? What's going on? Anything?
Nothing new. His most recent was 3 hours ago when he reposted the um Laura Ingraham. He reposted her. Um,
Wait, he did a Hannity. He just posted Hannity.
just now.
29 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Well, it says 10, yeah, 10:59. 10:59. He's
On
talking.
Oh, I see what's wrong. I had Jeffries pulled up under his thing. So that wasn't coming up.
Hannity's talking about the Obama interview with Colbert. Can you play that?
Yeah. I'll try to get it so you can hear it too, but you might have to just mute yourself and play it if you're having problems. Here, let's do this.
It has been nearly a decade since Barack Hussein Obama left office, nearly 18 years since he was first elected as president, and yet Barack is still refusing to ride off into the sunset with grace and something called dignity. Nope. Instead, he's now desperate for validation, but his most recent sit-down with failed, soon-to-be out of work, so-called comedian Stephen Colbert was an important reminder about the constant deception, gaslighting, pious lectures that divided a nation. Take a look.
The White House shouldn't be able to direct the Attorney General to go around prosecuting whoever the president wants to prosecute.
Right, because technically it's under the executive branch.
Technically,
the norm is that it's independent.
The idea is that the Attorney General is the people's lawyer. It's not the president's consigliere. We can't overcome the politicization of the criminal justice system, the awesome power of the state. You can't have a situation in which whoever's in charge of the government starts using that to go after their political enemies or reward their friends.
We will address that directly in a second. But remember, we're just a bunch of bitter, angry Americans that cling to our God, our guns, our Bibles, our religion. He, of course, was hanging out the Church of GD America with Reverend Wright, palling around with admitted domestic terrorists, Bernardine Dohrn, Bill Ayers. Obama wrote the book on weaponization and politicizing justice. Remember his Attorney General, Eric Holder, bragging about being Obama's wingman. And for years, with the help of his wingman, Obama routinely targeted his political enemies, journalists that ran negative stories. They were wiretapped, classified as traitors, business leaders with the wrong views. They were targeted. Some were even jailed. The GOP's rising star at the time, Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell. Remember, he was utterly destroyed by Jack Smith over a series of cooked-up convictions that were all unanimously overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's the big one. The 2016 Republican nominee for president, Donald J. Trump, and his campaign, his transition team, and his presidency, remember they were spied on by Obama loyalists that were gaming the FISA court system? But it wasn't just the courts. Remember, it was Obama who weaponized nearly every powerful lever of government against political opponents. And of course, that includes the IRS. Remember that little scandal? The FBI, even the intel community. And for the record, remember how the Russia collusion hoax began? It began, according to a 2025 report from the Director of National Intelligence, we now know, quote, new evidence uncovers Obama-directed creation of false intelligence reports used to launch years-long coup to undermine President Trump and the American people. Now, remember, Obama personally, they had an intelligence and ICA report that career senior intel officials, no, Russia did not impact the 2016 election. Well, he didn't like that conclusion. So he had a meeting in December of 2016 in his Oval Office at the time. And guess what? They came up with a new one to fit his narrative to go after Donald Trump. Ultimately, this weaponization of government resulted in 88 cooked-up felony charges against the Democrats' chief political rival and a famous mugshot seen around the world. But Obama is now deeply worried about Republicans because the GOP just doesn't act in good faith, doesn't care about the rule of law. Really? This is the same Barack Obama that set Trump up for a phony hoax? Take a look.
I'm worried about the Republican Party, not just the Democratic Party. When I was president, people would ask me, well, what change would you like to see in Washington? I'd say, I'd love a loyal opposition. I'd love a Republican Party that was conservative in some ways, that didn't agree with me on a whole bunch of stuff, but believed in rule of law and judicial independence and empirical evidence and science, and wasn't constantly tapping into our worst impulses.
Now, talk about worst impulses. You mean Obama, his party that opened the border, 12 plus unvetted illegal immigrants from over 200 countries, known terrorists, murderers, rapists, child molesters, other violent criminals, cartel members, gang members. They eliminated bail, reduced prison sentences for violent offenders. They blocked deportations for even rapists and murderers, wiretapped journalists, tried to throw an opposing presidential candidate in prison for the rest of his life on fake victimless crimes that no one can even recall without an extensive Google search. And the guy that gave billions to Iran, what did Iran do with that money? Oh, that's right. They built out their nuclear program, their ballistic missile program. They fomented terror around the world. That's the party that cares about the rule of law, you know, high from his ivory tower at one of his multi-million-dollar estates across the country. Obama has not only lost touch with reality, but it appears the former president has lost the ability to even tell a decent lie. But the good news tonight, Obama is now forced to witness his entire legacy go completely down the drain, compliments of the man that he tried to destroy. Here with reaction, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett, Fox News contributor Jason Chaffetz. Good to see you both. Greg, start with you on the legal side. That ICA change, remember, career senior intelligence officials determined there was no Russian interference. Barack Obama had a meeting in his office, if I recall, in December of 2016, and he demanded they change that accurate assessment, correct?
Oh, absolutely. This helps Trump, so we've got to change it. And so he had John Brennan at the CIA have the ICA say the exact opposite. And people in the intelligence community warned Brennan, you can't do this. You're basing it on a bogus dossier that's already been disproven. Well, Brennan didn't care, and he went ahead and did it anyway on the orders of Barack Obama. So, you know, it's comical for Obama to preach that an attorney general or CIA director is not the president's consigliere, since, you know, that's how he treated the people who worked for him. As you pointed out, you know, Holder was famously Obama's wingman. But the ex-president, you know, has always been sanctimonious, a hypocrite, secretly engaging in worse behavior than that which he condemns. In the Colbert interview, he implies Trump is weaponizing the justice system against political opponents when, as you point out, Sean, in fact, that is precisely what Obama did to Trump in 2016, the Russia hoax.
You know, and I really don't want to get lectured by a guy that sat 20 years in the pews of Reverend Wright the Sunday after 9/11/01, 25 years ago, took to the pulpit and said, no, God bless America, GD America, it's in the Bible. The same Barack Obama, we learned, did have a picture with Louis Farrakhan. The same Barack Obama that was friends with Bill Ayers, Bernardine Dohrn, people admitted of all days, 9/11/01 in the New York Times. I wish we did more, Bill Ayers said, in terms of the activities that the Weather Underground was involved in. Really? I don't want to get lectured by that guy, because that guy was the most radical guy to ever sit in the White House.
And for him to pretend, Sean, that they were a scandal-free administration. Look, I was in the room. I was part of the team that went after him on Fast and Furious, where they knowingly and willingly gave nearly 1,000 weapons to the drug cartels and then tried to do some very nefarious things to law enforcement. And somebody actually ended up getting killed. I remember when Benghazi happened and 4 of our Americans, including the ambassador, were killed. And they tried to cover that up and snooker the American people and tell them that those things hadn't happened. I was the chairman of the Oversight Committee. I issued dozens of subpoenas. Mr. Rule of Law there, President Obama, guess what? You didn't fulfill any one of those duly issued subpoenas. You fought me every single time. You did everything you could to get around it. You never complied with that. And then you throw that thing to Stephen Colbert. I remember when you went after 300 of those good conservatives that were trying to just participate, and you had the IRS target them and not allow them to participate. And then you had documents that were under subpoena that I issued, and then you destroyed those documents. I remember that Obama. I remember the Obama who went after the reporters and spied on them. That's the Barack Obama that I remember. Don't try to tell us that, oh, Donald Trump's the bad guy. Donald Trump is the most ethical, down the line, I will play it straight. You just got to be able to prove your case person that I know. And I had that experience. I didn't start that way, but I can tell you, having watched them, two of them side by side, Donald Trump shoots straight and Barack Obama just puts that smiley, happy face on and lies through his teeth.
And by the way, Greg, how ironic is it that if it were not for the immunity case of Donald J. Trump, I wonder if he could be looked into as part of the grand conspiracy investigation?
Well, a lot of his actions are not in the course and scope of, his duties as president of the United States. So arguably no immunity. For example, there are handwritten notes, Sean, that show that Obama was told how Hillary Clinton approved a plan to falsely smear her opponent as a Russian asset. Totally made up, of course. Instead of telling the truth to the American people, what did Obama do? He concealed it. And he allowed the FBI to use the lie as a pretext to pursue Trump and leak it to the media. And at the same time, there's solid evidence that Obama ordered the DOJ to drop its investigation of Hillary for influence peddling with Russia, of all countries. So Obama flipped the script, and he did so corruptly. Hillary walked while Trump was framed. So I'm not sure that immunity would cover all of his actions here. As you point out, he played such a key role in altering that important intelligence document that would have helped exonerate Trump. Instead, it did the opposite. So, all of this self-righteous virtue signaling by Obama is utterly phony. He pretends to be morally pious. He's not. It's a charade.
By the way, Greg, thanks for the analysis. And Jason, you don't get enough credit. Your committees at the time, you did your job. They were able to obfuscate what your committee had found. But what they pulled off, they did so with the help of the legacy media mob. Appreciate you both. Greg Jarrett, Jason Chaffetz, thank you.
Well, that was spot on. And by the way, this is why we saw Obama on Colbert today. Folks, this is all part of the show. He says this stuff, then everybody comes out and absolutely lambastes him and shows the hypocrisy. And to me, this is a setup. They've absolutely set him up. He also said about his library. You still with me, brother? We may have lost Oliver once again. You're muted. But that was spot on. And this is what this is all about, folks. You let Obama come out and talk like he did on Colbert.
I can't hear you, Dave.
You can't hear me? I
can't hear you.
Did you mute me so that that so that you could listen on your device?
I can't hear you.
Let me see.
No.
Okay, how about now?
I didn't hear anything the whole time.
Let's see. Do you guys hear me?
You have to drop me and bring me back.
Okay. All right, we'll get him back in. But that's what this is all about, my friends. All right? And and Obama's just coming out with his, with the library, and which is everyone's destroying that. And let's see. By the way, 300 federal agents and local raided MacArthur Park, which is like a fentanyl, huge fentanyl area. They got 19 kilos of fentanyl valued at $8 to $10 million in just one house. Yeah, this is killing people. But Obama's talking about his library, and that's being exposed as being way over budget. I think it's 850 million, and the original budget was 350 million. It's unbelievable. Let's see if Oliver's back in. Here we go. All right, how about that? Looks like you're still muted on your end.
I hear you now.
Okay, great.
I had to come back.
Great. So thoughts on that, and with just what I was saying about this is a part of the movie. I mean, the fact that Obama came on Stephen Colbert, and we're all talking about this right now, is not by it's not because Obama's people booked it, is what I'm getting at.
Well, let's take it a step further. Yes, we were literally talking just a little while ago. Now, look at the length of the video.
Of Hannity's?
Yeah. Did you notice?
I did not, actually. Hold on.
12 minutes and 20 seconds, right?
Okay.
Drop to 0 and go to drop 122.
Okay, here we go.
Can you bring up drop 9? Also.
Yeah.
Now, drop 9 mentioned it first, but Q reiterated it in drop 122. And we were just talking about this. So,
The black vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. The black vote. Yeah.
You know, and it mentions, who's Hillary's mentor.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's no such thing as coincidences.
Right. Right.
We were talking about the Black community awakening.
Yeah.
Right. And so we have to continue to show them things like this. Eventually, they're going to snap out of it. Eventually, they're going to say, Obama is full of shit. Just look at him. He's fucking lying. He's lying through his teeth.
At some point, the Great Awakening will occur whereby these false local national Black leaders are corrupt and paid off to help keep the Black population poor and in need.
That's drop 9.
That's 9.
But notice the correlation between drop 122 and drop 9.
Now, why did you go to 9?
I went there earlier when the
Black
lady from Virginia was
oh, okay. Yeah.
Was raided.
Yeah.
I posted that.
Nice.
I posted that. So for me, it's like, it's not a coincidence that he would drop this, 12-minute, 20-second video that literally talks about pretty much the same thing. Some added content there, but it's pretty much the same thing. Black, and what you said about Obama coming out, he's the control puppet. We know this, but who's controlling it? That's is he playing both sides? 100%. But in my opinion, it's under the direction of POTUS. Right? When
I think it's a white hat script.
Yeah, because when POTUS comes out and says, "I caught them all. I caught the swamp,"
Mm-hmm.
you hear things like, we have everything. We know everything. We got them all, right? That doesn't exclude Obama, and it doesn't exclude Obama's handlers. His handler was, in my opinion, and we talked about this years ago, the first arrest in Saudi Arabia at the Hilton,
Mm-hmm.
at the what do you call it?
The Ritz-Carlton, Riyadh.
At the Ritz-Carlton. You know, so that severed all ties right there. And then there was a drop about Hillary. Where she's fighting for her life, right? She's all of the connections were taken away from her. Same thing with Obama.
Mm-hmm.
When we see things regarding Obama, it's for optics only. You know, we've seen him visit London multiple times. One time there was no Secret Service. Then
Yeah.
to show the Secret Service.
Yeah.
You know, because we start and like, why is he going to London? Because that's who he answers to. If you look at what's going on in Europe right now, primarily in Great Britain, they're being invaded. And that's what they wanted to do here. They wanted and did allow the Muslim Brotherhood to infiltrate and invade. Right? So by Obama going to London and we being shown that he's going to London, he's meeting up with his masters. What's the next move? Right? But if you think about the other spectrum where Trump is in control of the narrative, you have to allow certain trips.
Right. Right.
You
But
have-
he's fully under control.
that's right. You have to allow Obama to go meet with his handlers.
Yeah.
Because you can't let them know that you're pretty much in control.
And that's part of the optics as well. Even if they already know, that's part of the optics. So you get, this is the role you guys are all playing now.
That's right.
By the way, Frosty, the Obama library was completely paid for by private donors. It's the first library not paid for by NARA, National Archive. And and then we think it's because they're in control of the documents, and it's an all digital library. But when you think about who actually funded this thing, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Ballmer,
wow.
Bezos. What's that?
I said, oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Reid Hoffman of Netflix, Oprah Winfrey, Soros, Open Society.
Wow.
A lot of corporations, foreign individuals.
Swamp.
Yeah.
Deep state, pretty much. The Council on Foreign Relations, your usual suspects.
Yeah.
Hey, check out 221, the mirror of 122.
Okay. What news broke? American contractors wear hanging from feet. What you were just talking about. Reread dumps. Why is this relevant? News unlocks map. Expand your thinking. This was the Saudi Arabia. This was the Riyadh, which we were just talking about.
So when you see things like expand your thinking, you're telling us to think the way you and I just thought.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think outside the box. You have to think that certain people are playing both sides because they have to. And they don't have a choice in the matter. You understand? They were probably playing both sides already, but now they were given the ultimatum, what I like to say, get down, lay down. So you're going to you were doing before, but this time you're working for us. So this Colbert thing, Stephen Colbert and Hannity said it, like you mentioned earlier. He's out. He's on his way out. His whatever it is, it's nothing. It's worth nothing right now. And so I guess he's trying to use it to the normal viewer. He brings in Obama to try to spike his viewers to his whatever. But in reality, it was a disclosure interview. He disclosed certain things there. We are determined that Obama was lying, right?
Yep. Yep. See, here's the thing, and I'm looking at today's Delta, by the way. This is May 6, 2020. An FBI document. Can I obtain detailed information about a current FBI investigation that I see in the news? Answer: no. Such information is protected from public disclosure. In accordance with current law and Department of Justice and FBI policy, this policy preserves the integrity of the investigation and the privacy of individuals involved in the investigation prior to any public charging for violations of the law. It also serves to protect the rights of people not yet charged with a crime. So this is kind of what needs to happen with Obama. People need to wake up to what's going down with Obama right now in the way in which he has, basically completely projecting onto Donald Trump what he himself is guilty of doing. But they're setting this up in a way that we're exposing him without exposing.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important. He's outing himself.
Yes, exactly.
To a point where his own base is going to say, wait a minute, this shit don't make sense. And he's lying. He's obviously.
Yeah, this motherfucker did not. He did that shit himself.
It can't come from Trump.
Exactly. And look at the next one, 4121. Sometimes you can't tell the public the truth. You must show them. Only then will people find the will to change.
That's right.
And that's what we're seeing. And this is unavailable, that video. This was the some COVID boom week ahead. Boom week ahead. Treason doesn't pay well in the end. Dates are important. This was May 2nd. Delta reposted on May 6th.
I was actually going to go there next after the mirror because there's a drop there. And if you keep following it, you'll come across it where Q says one step at a time. And I wanted to say that to the lady who asked the question, like, how much longer, deal with this? I don't remember the question exactly, but I think it was something along those lines.
Yeah, it's nothing's going to happen in her lifetime. She'll be dead before it all happens. Yeah,
one step at a time. It's one step. It has to be, because there's so many people who cannot compute all this information at once, including myself. Sometimes I find myself like so inundated with information that I just have to remove myself from it.
Yeah.
So imagine somebody who really doesn't understand, what's going on, trying to take this all in. They're going to drive themselves crazy. And I know they want to believe what we're saying because we're speaking truth and we're making sense, but they've been lied to so much, and their views on Trump and the Republican Party or whatever is preventing them from seeing the truth. So it has to be given to them this way, through their own media, through their own leaders. Look at the lady in Virginia, Karen Bass. She's about to be exposed to, but she made a deal, in my opinion. Doesn't mean she's not going to be exposed.
Right.
You know, the black leaders will continue to be exposed. Look at the idiot from fucking Chicago. He's a straight up communist, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the black community in Chicago has already turned on him. They're just, the media is not covering it.
Yeah. This was on today. Hold on a second. Where blonde lady said Trump recently shared a post where an ex-user made a claim that Trump would make sure Obama is tried for treason in a military tribunal, confirming that is exactly his intent. This was Julie Donut's post. When the director of national intelligence tells the public Obama committed treason and President Trump is your president, you can 100% know we will see his military tribunal.
100%.
Yeah.
And that video that you couldn't bring up because it's not available anymore.
Yeah.
I posted that earlier. It's the video. It's the video of that movie When the Earth Stood Still with Keanu Reeves is the alien, and he's saying pretty much that, you know, we aren't doing what we're supposed to be doing. And the guy asks him, so you're saying, you know, it's only at the precipice. Remember that clip? It's only at the precipice that, you know, people wake up. I'm paraphrasing, but
Okay.
that was that video. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Here
was
it
that.
is.
Your problem.
Yeah.
Your problem is not technology. The problem is you. You lack the will to change. Then help us change. I cannot change your nature. You treat the world as you treat each other. But every civilization reaches a crisis point eventually. Most of them don't make it. Yours did? How? Our sun was dying. We had to evolve in order to survive. So it was only when your world was threatened with destruction that you became what you are now? Yes. Well, that's where we are. You say we're on the brink of destruction, and you're right. But it's only on the brink that people find the will to change. Only at the precipice do we evolve. Your problem is not technology.
Yeah.
The problem is you.
What's this movie, by the way?
The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Okay.
And for many of us, we haven't reached that precipice. We think about it. We went through COVID. You know, we went through Pizzagate. You know, we put it out there. We put it out there. The fact that people are fucking eating babies. We exposed restaurants, not just in DC. Comet Ping Pong wasn't the only place. There's restaurants in New York. There's restaurants all around the world that serve human meat. You know, and we still haven't snapped out of it. You know, we went through a stolen election, verifiable. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All these assassination attempts. You know what's going on? We're so desensitized to everything that we're not reacting the way we should be reacting. Think about it. We fought because of tax on tea.
Yeah.
You know, like, what is really going on? We're MK Ultra. That's what's going on.
Yes.
You know, we're complacent. You know, and that's a huge problem. But in the same sense, you know, we're able to be in a position to soak it all in, whether it's on our phones, on our laptops, computers, or TV. You know, we're seeing all the information. So eventually, everyone's going to snap out of it, right? Because it's so in your face, it's undeniable. But everyone has to reach their own precipice.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what has taken so long, is because of I was just scrolling through Oliver's timeline, by the way, as you saw, just to give you, and I reposted a few of his posts. So please, if you're not already, get over to X and give @Sir Censorlot a follow and some love. And I'm going to put that up again so you guys can see that. But basically the
By the way,
go ahead. What's that?
thank you for that. By the way,
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thanks for being on and having this very important conversation, because this is something that we are absolutely being exposed at every different level of precipice. You know, some people's precipice is abortion. Some people's precipice is the border. Some people's precipice is money, finances, gas. And everybody needs to have their own wake up call. And unfortunately, people are waking up at different times and in different hotels. So it's got to be, you know, a wake up call that reaches the masses. But it has to, you know, some people it needs 3, 5, 10 times before they are. Yeah.
they started way with Medicare. A lot of Medicare, a lot of welfare, recipients who have been on government assistance for generations, and those people, started acting out when their checks weren't coming in, and that's part of the plan. Those people have been leeching off of our tax-paying dollars for generations. Okay, and a lot of these people, I know this personally. A lot of these people were getting money from the government through government assistance and selling drugs. Okay, and even worse in some cases, selling their children. You don't think our government knew this? You don't think Trump knew this? You don't think the Biden administration knew this? Kamala Harris tried to put David Delayden behind bars for life.
Yep.
He's, by the way, he's back.
Yeah.
And
he's been exonerated. And
Yeah.
yet Planned Parenthood, which was actually committing a crime, selling baby parts, they were never touched.
Well, I think
that was Kamala.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to coming down the pipe. They're going to be shut down permanently, and a lot of people are going to go to jail behind that, and including Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Sure. And I understand. I lived up for 4 years fighting a case. I understand this shit takes time. I know a major case takes years, and this is the biggest case in the history of the world. So yeah, it's going to take some time. It's been many of us 10 years now or more. But just think about the scope of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Data collecting that it would take. Somebody asked earlier, why are all these data centers popping up? It's necessary. Right? Palantir is necessary. You understand that technology, that Gotham program, it's necessary to be able to get through all of these indictments fast, right? Because on a normal pace, it would take much longer than it has taken thus far. With certain technology like Gotham from Palantir, it allows our government to speed through the process. Where you'll have 100 prosecutors instead of 100,000, and they're able to sift through all these cases at warp speed. It's happening. There's no doubt in my mind it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just gonna wake up one day and shit, it's gonna be plastered all over the news. Obama, Hillary. Like their day's gonna come. Right now, they're being allowed to, go and make these interviews and
Yeah.
whatever. But their day's gonna come where the hammer's gonna come down and they're gonna get raided. Their home's gonna get raided. They're gonna be taken in, and that's it. When that happens, there's
Yeah.
no, part two to that. When we're at that point, that's it. That's the closing act. Which, by the way,
Clean and swift.
yeah, that drop hit yesterday. The closing act. So
Mm.
it's just a matter of time. Just try to hang in there. Distract yourselves with other more enlightening things that you could be doing instead of focusing on the gloom and doom. There's too
Yeah.
much of that, right? Our whole lives we've been inundated with fucking gloom and doom.
Yeah. Yeah. The by the way, we're number 4 on X right now live. So thank you all for making us number 4 on X. And if you care to support this Truthcast, you can do the QR code up in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, or Zelle, or some of the links that I put in the chat as well.
Dave, how can you tell what place you're in on X?
If you go to X and go over to, I'll show you. Here, let me pull it up. It says live on X over on the right-hand side.
Right.
And Al Jazeera English, the alt-right endorses a Democrat, the black conservative preacher, and David Snedeker.
I see you right under Al Jazeera.
Okay. I think it has to do with what you're following.
Oh, okay.
As well. So then it might mean you're not following these others, which I don't know why I'm following E. What is E? I have no idea. Elijah?
Yeah, you need to unfollow them right now. That'll boost you up to number 3.
Yeah, right. That's funny. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is all happening. I mean, we're seeing a communist, get the position in New York City, and all the teachers unions that voted for him are now losing their pensions because they ran out of money. You can't make this stuff up. Well, you can, but it's all going down.
The teachers union is the most corrupt union in all of the United States. They deserve everything that's coming at them.
Yeah.
Fuck. They're the reason why, everyone's wearing blue hair and wanting to convert.
Transition.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm 2 years old. I'm a boy back. I really, I identify as a girl. At 2 years old in preschool. It's
yeah,
ridiculous. They all need to be in jail. All of them.
Absolutely. And that's where they need to, yeah. I mean, it's just atrocious what they have done. And by the way, that, going back to COVID, just the damage that they did going back to COVID. It's just tragic.
Daughter right now can't get on the bus because she didn't get the booster. She didn't get not COVID. We didn't do any of that shit. But there's a certain vaccine that the New York State school system requires.
Are you serious?
It's a booster. So she already, at a young age, we weren't that well versed on the vaccines. So at young ages, our children receive certain vaccines, but they went to private school, and because of our religious beliefs, we boosted and or vaccinated on many of these things, right? So we moved to this new house a few years back. We put some of our children, we actually put them all in the public school system here because it is a good school. But some of them said, you know what, we don't want to say put us back, and so we decided to put them back in the private school. But some of them stayed, and so when you get to a certain grade, they require that you get these boosters. And I said, fuck that, pull them out of school, whatever. But we've since put one of our children back in private school, and the public school, which is 2 blocks away from us, refused to allow her to get on the bus to this private school because they do provide that service because she didn't receive the booster. Now, mind you, every single child that goes on that bus is only going to that school. So they're going from the public school to the private school, one stop. But you're not allowing our child to get on the bus because they didn't get the booster.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah. Yeah. They're evil people, man.
Yeah.
They're evil fucking people.
It's all being exposed, man. It's all being exposed as we speak, and it's exciting to see. I mean, it's just it is what it is, but it's definitely, you know, it's everything's being exposed, and it's beautiful. I got to wrap things up, my friend. Any parting words from you? And I'm going to follow up with you on that machine, and I'm going to follow up with everybody here on the machine as well.
Yes,
when I
please.
get that link.
Well, I will say this. If you're led by the Spirit, then every decision you make in life, you're going to be held accountable for. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can't in one breath say that you believe in a higher power, you know, my heavenly Father, God. You can't say you believe in that and then go along with the narrative of these sick, evil people,
Yeah.
right? Instead of fighting for the children. So the decisions that you make in life, especially if you're in the authority, you're going to be accountable for that, whether it's here on earth or in the afterlife. So that's it. And
Yeah.
so that for tonight. And one more thing I wanted to point out to you. Trump dropped the post at 9:16. 27 caps. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, so and we were just at 26, and now we're at 27, and everything cannot be publicly disclosed. Not everything can be publicly disclosed because so much ties back to foreign heads of state. Much will be revealed. We want transparency, but not at a cost we can't recover from.
Yeah, and what's 9:16? That was foreign heads of state, right? And 9:16 is Israel for last.
9:16 is what?
Israel for last.
And that was the timestamp?
Yeah, 9:16.
Nice.
So for him to drop 27 caps at that time, I mean, you can pretty much put 2 and 2 together right there.
Yeah.
And the drop was about, it was a financial post, you know, about the market reaching all-time highs and 401ks and, you know,
right.
Boom, all caps, booming. Anyway, Dave, it's a pleasure, man, as always.
Yeah. I'm sorry that hear about your back, and I hope we can get you some different options here. And but thanks for coming on, man. Let's do it sooner than later. My apologies, it's been so damn long, but I always enjoy talking with you, and the audience loves when you're on. So let's make that happen sooner than later, my friend. And everyone's very much in gratitude for you sharing your time with us, and your insight and your amazing posts. So folks, at Sir Censor Lot on X, please go check them out. And all right, my man, thanks so much. Be well. Talk soon. Much love to you.
Thank you, brother. Likewise.
All right, man. Thanks. Awesome, my friends. Another great evening from the good man, Sir Sensor-Lot. And my friends, thanks for joining us tonight. No donations tonight from what I just checked. So if you find it in your heart, please support the work that I do here. And I will be on tomorrow night. So I will see you then, and we'll see what comes down the pike tomorrow. And a lot of major things happening. I just think this Obama thing coming on tonight was with Colbert was, I think, one of the last public appearances you're going to be seeing from that guy before things come out. That's all I got to say about that. All right, my friends, much love to you. Be well. Thanks to Quasi Pete and Moonbeam for holding down the fort, and all of you for sharing out and being a part of this beautiful community. Much love and good night. Bye.